I'm going to share with you guys on how to get the best video with your iPhone 12. Check this out. What's up guys, Myung here from Camera to Freedom, and I just first wanted to talk about how amazing the iPhone 12 is when it comes to taking photos and video. Photos because it could now shoot in RAW, and video because it could now shoot in 10-bit. 10-bit meaning that you get over 1 billion colors in your video compared to 8-bit, how it always was before, how it was about 16 million colors or so. And the reason why, obviously, why having 1 billion color in your video is better is because if I was to color correct this video and put some saturation and color effect on that good sky, then it would still keep the color and not pixelated or make it look funky how an 8-bit video would. So there's a lot of benefit of having high quality video, and the fact that it shoots 10-bit, that's crazy. I have a lot of cameras at home, and a couple of them could shoot in 10-bit, and they are high-end cameras, but most of the cameras are shot in 8-bit, which is, yeah, it's iPhone is taking over, and there is a part of me that is a little worried about the iPhone taking over our video and photography jobs. I'm sure it won't, but you know, it's a lot easier for people to make awesome videos and photos with their phone. So, okay, so check this out. So, the first thing that I want to talk about is that you should know how to set your exposure with your video and the AE lock. So with the exposure, you simply just tap on the screen. A yellow square will pop out with a little sun icon on the right. You could touch the sun, slide it up to make it brighter, or slide it down to make it darker. Once you got the exposure that you are looking for, then just hold on to the screen and wait till the AE lock icon appears, and then you are locked in. And the reason why that's important is sometimes when the sun is blocked by the cloud, you know, it's back and forth, or you know, there's kind of weird shadow thing and light thing happening behind me, then the iPhone will always try to adjust its exposure. You will see a little weird flickering thing happening. So if you don't want to get that kind of look, you should always lock in, which is really cool to have. Like even if you were to, let's say, pan down, get the shaded part of this mountain area, and then pan up, if it's not locked, you're gonna see a weird flickering thing happening with the sky. And if it's locked, you see a smooth movement from the ground to the sky. And one of the reasons why it has that weird flickering effect is because of the fact that iPhone has an amazing ability to shoot in HDR. It will expose for me, and then it will expose for the background, so then you could still see me, I'm not a silhouette, and you could still see the full color of the background, which is phenomenal, which is amazing. I mean, that just blew my mind that the iPhones can do that. If you were to shoot this with a regular camera, then, you know, if I'm properly exposed, then the background would be kind of blown out a little bit, and vice versa. I'll be a silhouette just to expose for the background if the sun was behind me. So that's a cool thing that you should know and you should do if you want to shoot professional looking video with your iPhone. So the next thing I wanted to talk about is the frames per second. On the top right of the iPhone, you have an ability to change your frames per second from 24 to 30 to 60. And the reason why you would want to use the 24 is if you want that movie kind of look. So I'm shooting right now with a 24 frames per second. It has more of a movie look. A lot of the movie cameras are shot at 24 frames per second, and having less pictures in that 1 second gives it a weird surreal kind of look. That's why it has that movie quality. It doesn't look real, right? Because there isn't that many frames in a second. And 30, it's a little bit more natural. A lot of the cameras back in the days always came with 30 frames per second ability, the cheaper cameras. And then the 60 frames, which is because of the fact that there's so many more images per second, 60 images per second, the videos will come out a lot smoother. Like in 24 frames, if I was to shake my hand like this, it's very jittery. You could tell it's missing some frames. But if I did that with 60 frames, then you could kind of really see most of the movement. So it's totally up to your preference when shooting the frames per second. And it also has an ability to change from HD 1920 by 1080 to 4K. And since our phones could shoot in 4K, keep it at 4K. Why not? Especially if I normally edit in HD, and when I shoot in 4K, it allows me to zoom in and without having to destroy the quality of the video. So that's kind of cool when if you need to do that for reasons like this. If I need to cut to a next frame, then instead of having a separate angle, then I could just kind of zoom in a little bit and then cut to the next frame. So that's very helpful to have 4K videos. The next thing I want to talk about is gimbals. So this is a DJI gimbal for your phone, which is amazing. It comes with a little clip that you put on the back of the phone. You snap it on like that, and then it is a magnet. Look how cool that is. Boom, and you are good to go. Power that on, and it is super smooth. Look at that. Boom. Now you could get smooth movements no matter what I do. Oh, you have to kind of practice to make sure you get the smooth movement also, right? But it does an amazing job just getting cinematic videos, which with this, you should keep the movement to a minimal to get awesome video looks, such as like sliding forward, sliding backwards, sliding side to side, and then going around a person instead of just kind of doing your own thing, which is totally okay too. But it's nice to have good movements in your videos so it looks very cinematic. And the cool thing about having a gimbal like the DJI Ronin is that it comes with a software that it reads off of each other, and now you could change your setting of the video manually, full manual, like as if you owned a mirrorless camera. You could change your ISO, you could change your shutter, aperture. It's got all this cool, awesome effect, hyperlapse, and it's got so many cool things that you can do with it. So it makes it really fun to have a gimbal that works well with your iPhone. And the iPhone 12 that I'm using to film myself, it actually fits perfectly. I know it has a little magnet in the back, and I was kind of worried when I got it, will it cancel each other out? But it doesn't. You put this little clip on it and you put that on and it'll stay. You don't even have to use the clip, but it'll kind of clip onto like the ring of it, so it's a little crooked. So you want to use that clip when using this DJI gimbal, and I highly recommend it. This is dope. I love the fact that now, starting with the iPhone 11, but now the camera in the front is HD 1920 by 1080. It's as good as any of the cameras that's in the back. Whereas my older phone, the iPhone 10, the front camera is only 1280 by 720. So when you get selfies and you do like zooming or FaceTime, the quality just isn't up there. It wasn't that good. It's okay. You can't tell with a small screen, but when you blow it up, you could definitely see it. But now it's in full HD, so I'm so glad, because I love taking selfie videos with a front camera instead of the back, and you can't see yourself. So thank you, Apple, for making the front camera just as awesome as the ones in the back. Now the ones in the back, the reason why there's three lenses is because one is an ultra wide. It's about 13 millimeters wide, meaning that you get about 120 degrees of view, and that's super wide. It's super awesome looking. And the second one is a zoomed in lens. So instead of digitally zooming in, like stretching out your videos and pinching and just stretching out the video, which kills the quality of the video because you start seeing like the pixels and the degraded part of the video, it now uses a lens to zoom in, keeping the same quality to get close-up shots. And the prime lens, the main lens of the iPhone 12, is about 28 millimeters. It's just kind of like regular wide, but it is at aperture f1.6. And 1.6 aperture is amazing because that's a prime lens for professional videographers out there. It could bring in a lot more light if you're shooting in a dark room, if you're shooting at evening time, sunset, or even nighttime. It allows you to bring in natural light, giving you a nice video before having to bump up your digital light, the digital exposure and ISO and other things like that to make it brighter. Because then once you do the digital brightness, it definitely destroys your video quality. You start seeing some weird pixelation and the colors look really weird. But the fact that it's got an aperture 1.6, meaning that the hole is a lot bigger, it brings in more light. Another thing that it can do is it could actually have bokeh. It could create a depth of field, a blurry background. naturally. So I know our iPhone has an ability to shoot in portrait mode and it'll find us, and then it'll kind of blur out the background a little bit, making it look, you know, professional, like a professional camera would do. But that's an artificial way of doing it. But our iPhone also has an ability to create that naturally with our aperture 1.6 lens. So that's really cool that our iPhones could shoot quality, high quality videos now. So I feel confident just carrying my phone around, and if someone tells me I need to get some B-rolls, boom, I'm using my phone to get those B-rolls, and they won't be able to tell that I shot it with my phone instead of my expensive cameras. So that's really cool. Another thing that you should definitely get is a microphone. I'm using a tiny little $25 boom microphone that's connected to the iPhone that's sitting on top of the phone. And you could tell it's a better quality audio. It does a good job capturing my audio at the same time canceling out the cars that's driving by behind it. So I definitely recommend getting a microphone like this so that you get good audio. But I have to admit, the iPhone does an amazing job capturing audio even without it. And I would even tell some of my clients, if you need to give me some of your recorded audio files, just use your iPhone, go to a quiet place, talk closely, record your audio, and just email me that audio, and it does an amazing job. But the iPhone audio tries to capture everything. It's omni directional. It tries to capture everything into that audio, whereas the little microphone that I'm using, it's cardioid condenser audio, so it tries to just capture what's behind it. So if I was to kind of talk like this and go to the side, I'm gonna go behind it, and you might hear the fact that you don't hear me as well, even though I'm right behind it. And then once I come around to the front side, you could definitely hear me, you know, better. Right? So get yourself a microphone. I'll put a link below on this awesome, cheap, badass microphone. So if you want to get yourself one, you know, hook yourself up. So guys, that concludes my short little video on how to get awesome videos with the iPhone 12. It isn't much, but you know, just the small little things that you should know to just make sure your video is at its best, especially since our iPhone 12s can take some of the best videos out there. Thank you guys. If you watched all the way, please hit the subscribe button, and I will see you guys next time.